We're at the Joplin Administrative Building. This is where I went to junior high, the old Joplin Junior High, 8th and 9th grade. It's kind of bringing back some feels for me. This is also Memorial, where Memorial High School was, so really cool old building. We're here today to discuss the upcoming Joplin bond issue, and we've got the Joplin Superintendent to help us understand a little bit more about what's going to be on the table for the upcoming vote, April 7th. Check it out. Hey guys, Ryan Flanagan, Indi Real Estate. I've got Mr. Kerry Sachetta here, the Joplin Superintendent, and we've got an important bond issue coming up, and can you just tell folks what's going on there?
Well, we had a long-range facility committee made up of community members that came to us after 2 years of study and said, you know, that we have 7 elementary schools here that we'd really like to bring up to speed compared to the newer elementary schools that have been built since the tornado.
Sure.
And so if you drive by any of those schools, you're going to see additions going in. And this summer, there's going to be work on the inside. So what's going to happen is we've built kindergarten classrooms that are now up to standard with 1,100 square feet and a bathroom. We've built special education rooms that are up to the right square footage we need to make sure that we encase all the amenities that our kids need to have those accommodations. Also, early childhood, we've put 4-year-old classrooms in 3 of our schools right now. That's been very popular.
Yeah.
Something that even back in 1993, the board was looking at in those days and weren't able to get around to it. Art and music, dedicated spaces, very important. We don't have that in several of our elementaries. Our newer ones do. Yeah. And then library refresh. Libraries haven't been touched really for the last 30 to 40 years. We want to upgrade those libraries and some hallway and floor improvements. So what it'll do in those 3 schools is make a big difference. And what we'd like to do is continue that on in our other 4 elementary schools, Eastmoreland, Cecil Floyd, Stapleton, Kelsey Norman, in a varying degree of those kind of improvements, along with parking and pick up and drop off improvements. You know, several of our elementary schools are what you would call neighborhood schools where everybody walked to school, like Columbia used to be. Yeah. Very little, if no parking. And we want to make sure that Royal Heights has more parking and a better pickup and drop off. Eastmoreland, we'd like to improve that pickup and drop off. Sure. Jefferson and Stapleton can be greatly improved, and those improvements would come with the bond issue.
With the new bond issue.
And so when they brought that to us, I think one of the things that we want to stress is that these 7 elementaries, we want them to function just like the other 3 elementaries that are newer, and we built them on 2011 standards, and we want to bring these other schools up to those standards.
Sure. I mean, we've got schools. I date myself. Columbia was my elementary back in the day, and it's no longer even a facility. And that's kind of what happens, long-term effect, if we don't keep up with things, is they start to deteriorate over time and kind of become obsolete, I would suggest. I think what's important for some of the voters out here, anytime somebody's like, hey, let's inject more money in, they ask, well, where's that coming from? Where does this money come from that's going to help upgrade our facilities, kind of pour back into our community and our children?
So that's the beauty of this, is it's a no tax rate increase. It is a debt extension of 6 years, but we are at 366 as a total levy right now, and we all know that schools are the biggest part of your property tax bill.
100%, yeah.
So what we're proposing is to keep 76 cents, which is the debt service portion, stable through this extended borrowing, and then just prolong the debt a few years, but take care of our needs. It's kind of like keep a low tax rate altogether. Yeah. Have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
You know, take care of the needs of the students. Don't burden the taxpayer any more than what they're already paying. Right. We all know there's reassessment that comes every 2 years. That changes. Hopefully that's a modest change. Sure. But we're not going to raise your tax rate to do this. We can do so much out of Fund 4 capital reserves, but we can't do everything. That's why we would like to borrow through bonds.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think for the taxpayer out there, I think what you need to understand, and you know, I'm no government official, but even if we did not extend this, I promise you, they're not going to reduce your property taxes. So how do we keep this money in our community? And this is kind of, I'm for it. You can be whatever you are for it, but we're basically extending a debt as opposed to introducing new taxes to our community. Is that right? And it's going to stay here in our community.
That is right. It's going to stay here. And if you go to any of our local school districts around us, with the exception of one, I believe, you're going to find a much higher tax rate. And what those communities have done is voted in tax levies over time, and they've kept them stable, and they just continue to do the same thing. The heavy lifting, I tell people, was done in 2007 and 2012 when we had the two new middle schools, excuse me, and remodel of one north. And then in 2012, we had to build back after the tornado.
Yeah.
So we had a tremendous amount of property and buildings that need to be taken care of. So when we raised the voters raised the levy by 35 cents each time, now we can just leave it flat, stay where it's at. When bonds fall off over time and the ability to borrow more happens, as long as you can show a need, you need to show a need.
Sure.
And there is one right now, then we think that it's a wise use of money.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, guys, if you have more questions, please reach out to us. We'd love to answer any questions that we can or direct you in the right direction. So, Kerry, thanks for joining us, and hopefully this is helpful for the voters coming out. Vote on April 7th. However you may vote, we are a proponent of keeping tax dollars at use in our community, and so hopefully you guys will see the benefit for not only our community but our kids. So, appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.